everyone? Welcome to No Drama, Just Movies, and we are back this week with our new talking segment, Hour to Pence. And today we are here to discuss something very important. That is the era of the movie star officially dead and buried? My name is Cameron. Even Santa Claus couldn't save the box office this year. Kelly Smith, and I'm joined by my esteemed colleague here.
I'm Phil. My real name was Taboring Corwin.
Ooh, that's right. And we are cooking. Once again, drop our channel a lovely little subscribe if you want to stay tuned for all the content we release each and every week in the world of TV and movies. Once again, as I said, we are here to talk about simply the topic is the era of the movie star dead and buried. And, to be very transparent, why are we talking about this? Why bring this up now in November of 2024? Well, I think it's an important question because the thing that brought us here, why we decided to do this video, specifically was the most recent news that the great one himself, the final boss for anyone who's a wrestling fan, The Rock, who just released Red One, seems like this movie is going to crash and burn. A $30 million opening weekend domestically, an over $200 million budget from Netflix. And obviously, with The Rock specifically, he had this. He obviously had Black Adam, which was obviously a failure. And I think it made me think about the general consensus right now in terms of why people are going to the movies. And there was a time in what was the golden age, it now feels like, when the movie star themselves, he or she, if you saw that person was in a movie, you were gonna go. And I felt like in this modern era, like at least over the last decade, that if you saw The Rock on a poster, that was enough for a lot of people to go.
Yeah.
Because it's The Rock, right? Up to this point, he was the biggest movie star in Hollywood, the highest paid movie star in Hollywood. Now, however, like many other actors or high profile movie stars, we're starting to see this decline where, that magic doesn't last forever. There was a time where it felt like that magic lasted forever. You talk about your Will Smith, your Johnny Depp, your Denzels, your Samuel Jacksons, guys where you looked at them and said, I'm going to go and watch this movie. So the question is, is it dead? And I know that sounds very dramatic, but is the era of the movie star over? Can a movie star still sell a movie? And before you answer that, another reason why I wanted to bring that up is because obviously what we're seeing right now with the international success of Gladiator 2 and the hype and the amazing press tour that Denzel is going on with this movie, it does make you go that, okay, well, clearly some movie stars still do exist. And I'm sure that there are people who are going to watch Gladiator 2 because Denzel is in it. But is that few and far between now?
Let me start with, you did mention Denzel, Johnny Depp, Tom Cruise is still around as well. But you see what they all have in common. They're all older. They're all people from 80s, 90s, from that era when we were still going to the cinema because of these people. When, it's the new Tom Cruise film or it's the new Denzel film or something. But, I don't think there's a lot coming now in the new generation. I don't think they're being built up as much either. Who is the new Tom Cruise? Who's the new Denzel Washington? Right? It's like you could look at for example, Michael B. Jordan, right? But what drives us into watching Creed, for example? It's not Michael B. Jordan, right? It's the whole, it's connected to Rocky. It's the director. It feels like it's more the whole package, with Gladiator 2 as well. We're not watching films because of one actor or one actress anymore. We're watching films because the whole thing is a thing we're interested in.
But has that changed then? Right? And I do agree with you, and then we'll get into that. But then when did that change? When did it get to the point? Because it felt like forever, especially in the 90s, early 2000s, where, the movie star, the guy or girl on the poster got you in the door. Or, but when did that change? And you're saying that now it's the complete package. And I do agree. But why is that the case now more than ever?
Well, for example, we mentioned the poster, who's on the poster now? It's mainly the whole cast. When you look at something like Dune, the Dune poster has basically everyone on there. And you have like Star Wars, for example, as well. Although I wouldn't say like Star Wars was ever like the movie star vehicle. It kind of made Harrison Ford, but I don't think people went in to see Star Wars, any of the Star Wars films, to see Harrison Ford. But you know, like all the movie posters are like it's all these people, and like the more stars we can, or the more people, the more actors and actresses we can shove in there, the more chance we have that people will actually want to watch this film. Um, I'm not sure when exactly it changed, but I think it just faded out. Because it was I was looking into like this the back in the days, you know, up to the 60s, 50s, 60s, like the studio system, right, or the star system, where the studio was literally the ones who said, we have this guy or this girl, he's a talent, she's a talent, let's build them up, right? That's what this whole idea of like, let's give them a new name that's more fancy and inciting, and that, you know, makes a good headline in the papers or something. Let's give them an image, right? Let's get like sell the whole package, but the package was the actor or the actress,
Mm.
right? I don't think we have that anymore. I think the closest thing right now maybe might be Tom Holland and Zendaya, because they're more than
Mm.
just actors right now. They're like a full story, right? They're characters in themselves.
Yeah, I mean, but that's the thing. I want to pick up on what you just said, right? Because I feel like, and that's the thing that's so confusing and misleading about this, because, if you look at social media, or even the way that, the traditional media build and present these stars, the way they're talked about, for example, Tom Holland and Zendaya, it gives off the impression that no matter what they release, no matter what they do, you're immediately going to have eyeballs on what that is. But then, for example, Tom Holland, the most recent, TV show he did on Apple TV, what was it called? The Crowded Room,
Yeah.
right? Like, I don't think anyone saw that, and no one even talked about it. Whereas, like, you look at like this is Tom Holland, right?
Yeah.
Zendaya, I think, is a bit different. I think she really does have that appeal where you're willing to check out anything that she sees. But at the same time, we look at some of the stars or projects that's come out, even this year, right? We look at a Mad Max, right?
Mm.
Because at least the point I feel like you was getting at is that now it's not about just a movie star. Now it's about the full package. It's about the IP,
Yeah.
right? But then you look at a movie like, Furiosa, right? That came out this year, right? Whether you see Anya Taylor-Joy as a star or not, Chris Hemsworth damn sure is, right? And that movie underperforms. It doesn't exactly, and we're going to get into the Marvel side in a second, right? These stars that, they, in one franchise or in one genre, they appear to be the biggest stars in the world. Chris Hemsworth, Robert Downey Jr., a great example. But then they go over and do these other projects, and like Rob RDJ and Doolittle, for example, right? Or The Judge, and the movie bombs or underperforms, and you're here questioning how is this possible? This is the guy where in this particular franchise, you would have the expectation that this guy could do anything. They could do a movie about them just taking a dump in the toilet, and it's gonna be a multi-million-dollar hit. And so, like,
Coming to next
and
one.
so, like, exactly. I mean, like, another person I think is a great example is Margot Robbie,
Right.
right? Like, Margot Robbie, I would say she is one of those actresses where I think she was being built up as the big female actress star in
Mm.
Hollywood. She was being built up, in my opinion, as that person where you would look at and go, this is going to be the woman who is the face of acting, especially for females, for the next how many years, right? And it looked like, especially from Wolf of Wall Street onwards, that it was going in that direction. But then she then comes out with movies where she's leading, by the way, such as, Amsterdam or Birds of Prey or Babylon, and suddenly it doesn't feel that that's the case anymore. It's like, well, okay, I guess she's not the movie star we thought she was, but then she does Barbie, and then suddenly, you know, it
Yeah.
changes. Oh, actually, maybe
United.
she is. But
Because
it's like the thing now. It's just the IP.
it must be, because like otherwise, yeah, we would watch other films with this person too, or this actress or actor. But I think it's nowadays. it's kind of tied, I guess, into like how much money we have now to go into to watch a film. Like it has to be, we have to get more value for money. If like one star is in it, um, we might not watch it. But if there's this guy and her as well, and then it's directed by, Christopher Nolan or something, we go, oh yeah, that's a film I'd spend £21 on it. And actually like
Mm.
spend some time sitting in the cinema. So it's tough because we're like, I think still going or now going, yes, it's got my favorite actor in it, but is it any good? And that is
Mm.
a really a criterion as well. Because I guess with streaming as well, because now we can just watch stuff on streaming a couple months later. Like, do we really need to go to the cinema anymore if we're not too sure?
Mm.
But yeah, that's yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the thing, and it's a fascinating time to be in because if the movie star is officially dead, at least the movie star that you is a draw is officially dead, then what we're now going into is okay, what then makes you go and see a movie, right? And I would even like to say that it is the IP or the trailer, but now we've had so many examples over the last couple of years of movies that are great movies, great trailers, great cast, come out and bomb.
For
And it's
example,
so, pardon?
name an example because I can't
Oh
think.
gosh. Yeah, I mean, for example, like you look at a movie like obviously the last Mission Impossible, Dead Reckoning. A movie where had all the stars, had the IP, had the trailer. It was a fun movie and bomb. You look at a movie like West Side Story, obviously that's a bit more of a specific taste, but you have the GOAT Spielberg, coming in with something that you'd feel like, had great word of mouth. I feel like it's confusing times because I feel like it's not we're in a time where you can make a good movie, you could make a good trailer, you could even have great stars in it, but it doesn't mean people are gonna come. And I think that's the kind of weird time we are in at the moment. And I think a reason why studios are starting to over rely a lot on a more established IP or wanting to create established IP because that feels to be maybe one of the only saving graces you now have. But then you look at a movie like The Marvels, which is a part of the Marvel machine, and that comes and bombs that we've never seen before. And
Yeah.
I feel like it's starting to become scary territory where you there's not a specific thing you can point out. A movie can be great, as I said, in all areas. Marketing's great, but you just still sometimes people don't turn out to see it, and I think that that's the more concerning part. But I mean, the final thing I will say, which I think is jumping off what you're saying, the last point I'll make is that I think that even after us having this discussion and going over some points, I think that one of the big reasons for the decline, not only in the era of the movie star, but in the decline of people going and seeing movies, is I think it is streaming. And I think that streaming presents so many alternatives to people. One, you can save money instead of spending, well, we're over here in the UK, for us, spending £20 on a ticket for you, £20 on a ticket for your partner, kids' tickets, snacks, concessions, all of that. Instead of doing all of that, you can sit down at home with an abundance of streaming services, loads, hundreds of thousands worth of content, great content, and you can watch it from the comfort of your own home, much cheaper. And I think as well, the other thing is that the gap now between a movie being released and that movie going on streaming is so small that
Yeah.
unless this is a movie you absolutely adore and you can't wait, or you're a hardcore movie fan, what's waiting 60 days, 90 days to see this thing on streaming? You know what I mean? Like, and I think that is part of it as well, where the expectation is now, well, this movie is going to come onto streaming soon, or money, or you know what? I actually prefer now the home experience in comparison to the movie going experience.
Mm.
And I don't know how you fix that. I think it's nice seeing that they didn't go the route of what Warner Brothers tried to do at the beginning of the pandemic of putting everything straight onto streaming from the get go. I think that's good to not do that, and that helps. But I think that it'll be interesting seeing in the coming is what works. I think last thing is that I think marketing still does make a difference. The
Yeah.
Barbie Oppenheimer thing, I think, was a great example of how you still can strike gold. Pardon?
Stroke of genius, that, yeah.
Yep, it was indeed. But it's sad, but hopefully the business everything still continues to thrive, and that we can still rely on Zendaya.
She has to carry it all. Um, like we were talking about movie stars and like getting people into cinema. When do you remember the last time you went into a film just because of an actor, rather than an ensemble or like the director or like the AP? Just because one actor was in it, maybe you didn't know too much about the film. You just went, he or she is in it. Let's watch it.
It's been a long time. It's been a long time. I think there are a couple names, right, where if I see them on a poster, I am going to be intrigued. Couple names that come to mind is a Denzel, is a Robert Downey Jr., is funny enough a Daniel Craig but that's more because I love their work and their work specifically so much, not just from the pieces they make, but from a performance perspective, that I'm intrigued to see what they do next. However, to answer the question, are they enough alone to get me in there? No, but I will struggle probably not to watch a movie that they're in. How about you?
I can't remember. Like, it's tricky because I think there was, like you said, there was always something else combined to that. I think I watched um Doolittle, um, even though, the reviews weren't as great at that time, but I thought it's got Robert Downey Jr. in it. He might be the one for me because I watched a lot of films like back in the day as well, simply because they had Robert Downey Jr. in, right? I think he could draw me in. Um,
Yeah.
so maybe he's a movie star for me at
I
least.
think he
Yeah.
is, but Doolittle would say otherwise.
I still watched it.
So,
I'm gonna watch it.
yeah.
Like you get shit in a bucket or something, and I'll buy a ticket. You know.
Well, the same amount of people probably see that who did see Doolittle. So, it's a tough game. We love you, RDJ, but clearly it's a tough game. It's a tough game.
Good in it. It was good in it.
Anything else to add before we wrap up here?
The Welsh accent. No, I think I'm good.
Once again, we are No Drama, Just Movies. Thank you very much for checking out our episode today of Our Two Pence. We release weekly videos in the world of movies and TVs, weekly reviews, and also talking segments like the one that we have just done here. Please drop our channel a lovely little subscribe to stay tuned for all the content we release each and every week in the world of TV and movies. And do indeed check out our review of Gladiator 2. That will be down below. And also our review of Dune Prophecy, the first episode. My name is Cameron. Even Santa Claus cannot save the box office of 2024. Kelly Smith, and I'm joined by my esteemed colleague here.
Bill, my real name was too boring. Corwin.
Oh, there we go. That will do it for our episode of Our Two Pence, and we will see you very, very soon. Take care, guys.
Bye.